Good morning, everybody. Tuesday. I feel a little better today. I went and got adjusted yesterday, and man, did I need it. My goodness. I don't think I've been in that level of pain for a while. It's been months. But when you do dumb stuff, what do you expect? I am not immune to consequences. Chris will be out today. He texted me already, so um, he's got some stuff that he's trying to figure out. So he will not. I saw people asking about Chris. He won't be here today. In any case, I feel much better after having the adjustment. So you see, what I have to remember, is bracing up has to happen when I'm doing anything. I look, part of it you're getting up there in age, but your bones are still your bones. You know what I'm saying? So I just gotta be little, try to be smarter. But like I told people, I ain't smart. Still a guy. So in any case, we're gonna be talking about the red horse today. The red horse, the red horse, the red horse. Now, this one's a little bit different um, because this is one of the few that you can look at and say, oh, this is happening now. But also remember that the world has been constantly at war. There has always been some sort of conflict going on somewhere, and in some cases to the extreme. Okay. Just remember that when we read this. So in verse 3, when he opened the second seal, I heard the second living creature saying, come and see. Another horse, fiery red, went out, and it was granted to the one who sat on it to take peace from the earth, and that people should kill one another, and there was given to him a great sword. Now, we're going to dabble in a little bit of history and some political things, but not to the extent that some might think. When this particular thing starts to happen, people are gonna. This is just my theory on this one. Okay, this is me speculating, so I want to make sure I clarify that. I have a suspicion that when these things start to happen in this particular seal, that what you thought was war before ain't going. Look, it'll pale in comparison. It'll pale. Now, if you want an example of what it might end up looking like, look no further than unrest in other countries right now. Look no further than that. Look no further than fights that happen out on the street. Yes, related to the government, but look at the kinds of things that happened on the street. We're talking about mass amounts of people fighting each other to death in the street. That's happened a little bit now. Just think about that happening at a grand scale and it being allowed to just go. No limits, everything lifted off. The removal of peace completely, which is what it says, right? It was granted to him, the one who sat on it, to take peace from the earth, and that people should kill one another. Now, a skeptic would say, why would God allow y'all are doing it now? Look, people have no problem in the name of something they deem a worthy cause killing somebody else. Let's be honest. Let's take the big talking point right now, Palestine versus Israel. Put aside the Israel's name and history for a second in terms of God, and let's just look at this from a humanistic standpoint, shall we? The people in Gaza and the people in Israel are at odds, and neither side see a problem with ending the life of the other. peace has almost been removed completely from that area. Now, double that, then triple it, then triple that triple, and triple it again. And you might get 1% of what's to come. We are talking about a release of all respect for each other. Now, question is, where does that leave the believer? Now, I want you to understand one thing of what I've read, what I pretty sure it says in the book of Revelation. I know people are talking about the rapture, and they say the rapture is coming. We talked about that before. The Bible itself does not mention any sort of rapture. But if you can find me a verse that says it, then feel free to show me. But I do know it says that you have two different time frames where Christians are going to be here, and some of us are going to go through with the tribulation. Just so you know, some of us will be in during the tribulation. And if you really believe that God is who He says He is, then whoever He decides to go through that will go through it, and you should be okay with that. Just so you know. But I mentioned that to bring up Revelation 12, because I think this is the part that we, as believers, don't want to admit is coming to us. We love the positive stuff. We do love the positive stuff. But this is what it says, just so you know, and it links a whole lot with the second horse. Then I heard a loud voice from heaven saying, "Now salvation and strength in the kingdom of our God and the power of His Christ have come, and the accuser of our brethren who accused them before our God day and night has been cast down. And they overcame him by the blood of the Lamb and the word of their testimony, and they did not love their lives to the death." I hope you get what that means. I know in my past I have always thought of self-preservation. I need to be around for certain things to happen. But it's not the first time He's talked about your life being forfeit for the sake of the kingdom. He has told us multiple times that people will seek to end you. Don't you find it odd that a lot of the Christians today want to live in peace? Don't you find it weird that people in the kingdom think that their life is about peace? They conflate God's peace that is given through His Son with peace between mankind. There is a massive difference between the peace that passes understanding to peace between fellow. That's not going to happen. He even told you there'll be a false peace. But we keep constantly looking for peace. You see, what's going to really anger people is when that so-called peace is given, and then all of a sudden the second horse shows up and it removes all peace. Why else do you think He said you can make unity in the bond of peace? We have a very skewed idea of peace. A very skewed idea of peace, because a lot of the times our peace comes with what we would call how's that? What's the best word for this one? Caveats. Yeah, we want peace, and so we will Okay, I'll allow that because I don't want to have to fight. Okay, we'll allow that because we don't want to have any headbutts. I don't want to offend anybody, so I'm going to allow that, and then I'm going to allow this, and then before too long, you're no longer preaching Christ. You're preaching some other thing because you're trying to stay at peace. But what happens when that horse shows up and all peace is removed from the earth? I have a I have a theory about the end times, and it's only a theory. I think a lot of people are going to be looking for some very colorful signs, and they won't find it, and they won't see it, and they'll end up falling away because the sign that they think they should be seeing, it won't show up that way. And when it doesn't happen that way, because they've hinged all of their bets on a certain way of it being done, they'll fall away because it didn't happen. It didn't happen. Just like I'm sure, like a lot of people that were talking about the eclipse, right? The eclipse was going to be some massive thing going to happen, and it's a sign, and this is part of the end times. And then when the Euphrates River was starting to dry in portions of it, oh yeah, it's going to definitely this is the time. And then you're hearing people hearing voices underneath the yeah, this is the time, and then nothing happens. A whole bunch of people were like, I was misled. I thought God was coming back. I thought God was real. But look, the word doesn't fulfill itself. It's a lie. Why would that happen? Because people who say they're Christians have hinged all their bets on something they can see. I'm not saying the things won't happen that you can see, but that's not what you should be hinging your bets on. If it's going to happen, if you do believe God, then it's going to happen. You don't know when. So just because you think it's going to happen sometime and it doesn't happen when you believe, are you really trusting God, or are you trusting your own understanding? And how is it you get to put your understanding above God's time? I know there are a ton of people, preachers, um, that have a very um, they have an idea of what they believe everything should turn out like, and they'll build their whole concept around that belief structure, and they will try to tell everybody this is exactly how it will happen. But let us just be 100% honest. We don't know. We don't know. I want you to watch this real quick. Okay. Again, every time I prep something, they won't let this one play. Of course not. I wish I could show that one. Okay. Let's do it like this. I got a better way. But I do want you to hear what I'm talking about. Because if you hear it for yourself that way, I know how to say, yo, it's Marlon's viewpoint. It's not super long, okay? 4 minutes.
Welcome to Hope Channel International. This video explains what the red horse stands for and why the early Christian church was persecuted.
This ought to be good, okay? You'll be watching it first with me too.
Then we move into the next period of Earth's history, the second seal, verse 3.
The second seal.
Right. When he had opened the second seal, I heard the second beast say, "Come and see." And there went out another horse that was red.
Fiery red.
Yeah. The power was given to him that sat thereon to take peace from the earth. They should kill one another. There was given unto him a great sword. So white's the color of purity, still is to this day. What do you think of when you think of red?
Well, red is blood.
Right. Blood, violence,
red.
fire, warfare.
Right.
To this day, countries still put red on their flag if they want to commemorate the people who gave their lives to establish that country. So now the Bible says peace will be taken from the earth. The church is preaching the gospel with power, and very quickly the Roman government comes down on the Christians.
Okay.
They're an unacceptable religion to the Roman government. They don't want them. Now, here's what's interesting. People say, well, why? Why crack down on the Christians?
Yeah, why the Christians?
Well, there was a state religion in Rome that said, starting with Augustus Caesar, that you had to worship the Roman emperor as a god. Yes and no. You didn't actually have.
Now, I'm going to stop it right there. The actual answer is not that the Romans wanted to do anything. The actual answer is that God told you this would happen to you. You see what I mean? But okay, look, I do analogies all the time. I get that. There are analogies, but let's be clear about one thing. Sometimes it is completely fine to say because God said this would happen. It doesn't. Why would it say Bible in the Bible? What I don't get your logic here. What exactly do you mean? How are you conflating those two things? Anyway, I'll entertain this thought process here real quick. Let's run this down the rabbit hole, shall we, and see some things, because I want to put something to bed here real quick. I'm going to find the right one first here. Let me see here. Okay, so it also doesn't say Bible in the Bible. What does the word Bible mean? And this is only for Annette and Antoinette. Just tell me, what does the word Bible mean? If you don't mind answering that, please tell me what the word Bible means. As for 1 Thessalonians 4, okay, 16 and 17, let's read 16 and 17, shall we? For the Lord himself will descend from heaven with a shout and a great voice of the archangel and the trumpet of the God, and the dead shall rise first. Then we who are alive shall remain, will be caught up together with him in the clouds, and we met with the Lord in the air. And thus we shall always be with the Lord. Therefore, comfort one another with these words. Again, I ask you specifically to show me where it says the word rapture. That's the reason why I'm asking you to describe the word Bible to me. Just tell me what the word Bible means. That's all I really want to know. Please tell me. If you can answer the word, what does the word Bible mean? It might help you understand why it's not in the Bible. But I ask you specifically if the word rapture is in the Bible. And if you don't then call it the Bible, what do you call it? You might just call it scriptures. Then maybe you should go find the original scriptures and read those instead of the conglomeration of books we call the Bible. So, again, in any case, back to what this guy was saying. They have this concept behind them that we need to look at red, and sometimes it's just what the book says is sufficient. You don't need to embellish on a whole lot. Again, I didn't ask you that. I specifically asked you to tell me where in the Bible it says the word rapture. That's all I'm asking. It's simply, I want to know where in the Bible that is. That's all. Pretty simple question, and Antoinette, I don't know why it's a difficult answer to give, but just, I don't know. Anyhow, just look at what he expounds on here.
To believe it, but for the sake of national unity, you have to throw a little incense his way once in a while, a little pinch of incense, and at least pay lip service to worshiping the Caesar.
Okay.
Now, Jews were exempt from this
Interesting.
because they had helped Julius Caesar, so he passed a law protecting them.
Okay.
But Christians were a new sect, and the Jews were saying, they're not us.
Right.
And they weren't a state religion, so the Romans really started to crack down on them. Not only that, they actually, the Christians didn't participate in anything. They wouldn't go to the games where condemned prisoners fought to death. They wouldn't take
That's
part.
something they weren't comfortable with, would they
absolutely.
have been? It was,
As you can see, there's a whole lot of embellishment of things they don't know. The fact is, you were told in the book that would happen to Christians, that you were told this. The red might symbolize blood, it might not. It could also symbolize fire. There's a ton of things that red could symbolize. The problem here is that we don't want to focus on the actual thing that's happening here. There will be no peace. And Christians have to start being able to understand that no peace means no protection. And that is completely fine, because your life should not be vested here anyway. The reason us as Christians don't want to look forward to anything to do with that is because we're afraid to lose life here. Too many humans are afraid to lose life here. That's why we're looking at this thing as a bad thing. I didn't ask if the meaning was there. And you're not answering my question. And I'm not pretending anything. The question was, where in the Bible does it say the word rapture? I don't know how this is a difficult question, and I don't get it. And you see, did I say that? This is the problem. Look, it's been a minute since I've been watching. I watch, I observe. Okay. I observe a lot of the stuff you say. I really do. I pay attention. I do pay attention. I just don't get into a lot of the stuff you say, but I do pay attention. I do pay attention. I pay a lot of attention. You did not answer immediately. You went to two different things. You only just said your answer 2 answers ago. So I'm glad you can finally say, no, it is not in there. Secondly, did I say this? Did I say anything close to this? Kind of like the Bible doesn't say stuff, but you infer. Did I say anything like this? Did I intonate anything along these lines? It's just, and that, again, a simple question is, did I say this? Or did the Bible say it? Did the book of Revelation say no peace? I'm just really curious about that. I'm pretty sure I read to you from the book of Revelations, chapter 6, verse 3, the red horse is the one that is given the power to take peace from the earth. The absence of peace on the earth is ordained. That is promised. That ain't me saying that. And the book never said that God went anywhere. So I don't know how you conflated those two things. Like, I don't even know how that even came to be. Yes, there will be no protection from what's coming in the horse. It said so. What are you talking about? Even if you were to be slaughtered tomorrow, do you call that protection? Are the Christians being slaughtered right now in certain countries being protected right now? Just answer my question. Are they being protected right now? So if they're not being protected from death, does that mean God doesn't exist and there is no God there? How is that logic even entering into how? How, Sway? North Korea, Afghanistan, Somalia, Libya, Pakistan, Yemen, Iran, Nigeria, India. All of those are places where you can be killed just for saying you're a Christian. Just for saying it. For even having a Bible, you can be killed. And not just an irregular pow, you're dead. We're talking torturous killing. Okay, tell me how I twisted your words. Please tell me how I twisted your words when I put them up on the screen. Tell me how I twisted your words. Where, in fact, did I twist them and not ask you to clarify? Where did I do that? I'm curious. I'm really curious about this one. Show me where I twisted your words and didn't ask you to clarify what you meant. And if I am good at twisting people's words, why are you watching me? If I am good, this is what you say, you are good at twisting people's words, which must mean you've thought this before. And if I am good at twisting words, why are you watching a dude that twists words? I would consider me disingenuous and a liar. Wouldn't that make me that? Why are you watching a liar? You're the one that said, I said no protection means no God. That's not twisting. That's what you assumed I thought. I never said that. Even the book tells you that we are going to be killed. And you shouldn't love your life to the point where you try to avoid death. It tells you this. Literally in the book, everybody watches and reads. It says, you better be prepared. We have been sold a bag of goods, though, that we're supposed to be this protected group, that nothing is going to happen to us. We take verses like, if God is for us, who can be against us? And we run with it saying we are a protected group of people that nothing can happen to. He tells you all the time that we're going to be persecuted. If they hate him, they're going to hate. How is that not a prediction of us going through the most ridiculous, crazy stuff? Again, I'm going to ask you to clarify. What do you mean only I said? What did I only say? Please clarify what only I said, that no one else said, including you. What is that? That only I said. Please clarify that. What is it? What is it? Jesus H. Christ is here listening to you. And guess what I would like, Marlon, for you to shut up. That's good. That's good you would like that, but it's not going to happen. So keep wishing though. I mean, that's a great wish. It really is a great wish, but it's probably not going to happen. I didn't know that Jesus had a middle name either. H? I didn't know that. Um, Jeremy, I didn't know that Jesus had a middle name. What's that? What the G stand for? What's the H stand for, please, if you don't mind? Yeah, where the H? Where does the H come from? Facebook is on a roll this morning, guys. Just so y'all know. I'm unsure of how Jeremy became my friend. Oh, I think I know where. I think I finally know where Jeremy came from. Jeremy is on the friends list from TikTok. That's where Jeremy is from. Jeremy. What's an easy solution to fix this, Jeremy? Since you think I should, shut up, I'll make sure that you can't be hearing my annoying voice anymore. I'll make sure I solidify that for your. You see how look at what I'm going to do for you. You see this button here? You see what it says? I'm going to do that for you. And I'm also going to go and see if I can. I'm going to try and see if I can block you. That'd be the most efficient way, I think, of doing this. But I'll find a way. I think the best way to do it is on my mobile phone. I'll just do it on my mobile phone. I just helped him a whole lot there, so he doesn't have to deal with my voice. Because heaven alone knows, I don't want to upset people like that. I got better things to do. It is very hard to keep up with the feed. Okay, good. In any case, people will read the book and not listen to what the book says. The book outright says a whole lot right to you that people don't want to admit to. We were never promised human interactory peace. We were not promised that. Christ is our peace. Our peace is of a spiritual nature in spite of what happens in the world. Because we know the one who knows the end from the beginning, we can have peace. We are not, however, exempt from the wiles of the devil working through other people that may want to harm us. Every one of the disciples, every one of the apostles went through some of the most egregious, painful things you could possibly think of. And they knew Jesus. I'm not exempt. I am not exempt. He's the Prince of Peace, right? Perfect. He dictates who gets it, since he's the director and the giver of it. And the only way for you to get true peace is through him. I'm not looking for peace man to man. I don't expect it. I don't. I was never promised that. Never promised that. I was never promised riches. I was never promised fame. In fact, he says, if the world hates me, they will hate you too. He said, for this reason, you are persecuted all day long. All day? Every day? All day? All day. And if that is truly what is expected to happen, why are we so dumbfounded when it does? And why do verses like this instantaneously transport us into a position of wanting to be the one exception to that rule? Did you notice that? The instant that I said this is what's going to happen, they always go to, well, not me. I will be exempt from that. But what if you're not exempt from it? What if your end is absolutely catastrophic because of your faith? What if within this next year, someone punches in your door and tells you to denounce Christ or will decapitate you? That's a trial and a half right there. And we won't do it quickly. We won't do a hack and we won't do nothing. We're sawing it off. Dullest blade we can find. I do not believe that many of us are going to survive that particular thing in terms of faith wise. I'm unfortunately thinking that many will say, whoa, 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 whoa. Let's make some compromise here. I don't want to lose my head. But I really also don't want to, denounce God. Okay, what can I do? You can't love this world and your life to the point where you're trying to avoid death. Your life is forfeit. If you have given your life to Christ, right? If it is now with Christ, you no longer possess your life. So if they come and take peace, and you are here when that peace gets removed, and you are now part of the people that are going to be eradicated, are you ready for that? Are you ready for that? What this for me is about going through Revelation is I've found one very interesting dynamic about, and I think there are two different schools of thought on how to view Revelation. One is the escapist view, and one is the fear view. And there might be a third, but they're a very small minority that look at it and say, he's in charge of it anyway. The two say it, but one's looking forward to the escape and one's fearing that they may not. All Christians. But there's a few that just cannot wait to escape it. And then there's a few who don't know if they will and they're afraid of it. And then there are a few who like, whatever happens, happens. I'm part of the middle one. Whatever happens, happens. I'm not afraid of it, and I'm not trying to escape it either. I'm not. He's the one that decides my days. He knows the hair on my head, and he knows the number of my days. He knows when I will expire. He knows all of that. And if he knows it, Why am I concerned about it? Red horse or whatever. Why does death freak us out so much? Especially believers. If you are told, okay, let me tell you, if you are told that he knows the end from the beginning, and you believe that, there is nothing that escapes him, and you believe that, there is no power on earth that can defeat him, and you believe that, and that there is a place reserved for the devil and his angels, and you believe that, why would death freak you out? Why would death freak you out? It's coming to each of us. It's coming to each of us. Some of us is going to come in the format of persecution. We should be okay with that. The reason I wanted to go through this revelation thing is to do two things. Read what it says, which we did. And to show you that your expectations of the end times have zero weight on what it will actually be. We don't know. We don't know how. We don't know matter. We don't know anything. We speculate. We assume. We go so far in trying to explain the things that are not explainable and don't need explanation for you to follow Christ. They don't need to be explained to you. You don't even need to know. You don't even need to know. The people in these countries I mentioned, there are almost 50 of them where there's a hard time being a Christian. Just beware that that particular thing is not going to be limited to just the third world countries anymore or to a Muslim majority country anymore. Hate for God is right here in the United States soil. Here's the worst part of this. I think the most unfortunate people are the ones in America because there is such a massive gray line. The rest of the countries, there's black and white. You say you're a Christian, dead. You don't say you're a Christian, live. Here, there is a gray line allowed, at least mentally, where you can believe that you're in just fine. You can stay in the middle and love everybody and accept everything. And when you don't, and you're on the extreme end of what the Bible says, and you believe what the Bible says, and you say what the Bible says, you're going to be treated differently. Because whether we want to view it as a gray area and a white area and a black area, there's only black and white. There is no middle ground. It is simply a line in the sand, black or white. We just found a way to muddle it and make the dark look like the light. So you get this gray. And it has become more of Christianity than anything else. We don't want the cut and dry. We don't want the black and white. We want gray. Cake, eat it. The reason I don't think many people are going to survive what's coming, especially American Christians, is because we have become decadent. in our Christianity. And that is why I think many people are unable to find a life following Christ. It is difficult. Why do you think it's so surprising to atheists to encounter people that are dead set on following Christ, regardless of what? Because that's not the norm. If tomorrow this red horse thing was to show up and remove all peace, I will guarantee you those people in the gray will side with the side that wants to keep them alive. They'll denounce. Or they'll find a way to transform the idea of Christianity to fit the mold of the world to stay alive. The entirety of the book of Revelation is one of the greatest tests of your commitment to God. They overcame by the blood of the Lamb and the word of their testimony, and they did not love their lives to the death. When peace is removed, will you be seeking to try and find and make peace by denouncing your faith? Will that be you? Now, mind you, it's already started. I want you to there, and like I said before, the butter up is where we're at right now. We are at the first phase of what the devil will do to the church. And that's the butter up phase. You're hungry, have some bread. Did God really say? That's where we're at right now. That's where we're at. We are in that location where we are being tested to see how and if we're going to hold true to what he said. And trust me, the American Christian is failing in this. Failing. Because they look for the sweet. They look for peace. They look for calm. They look for unity and blah, 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 blah. And if that means giving up a little bit of ground to a sin of someone else or to a statement of you can't say that, you can't, they'll do it. They'll do it. Which is unfortunate. So that red horse does show up and remove the peace, they'll find peace. Man way or something. They won't apply what's going to happen to them. But we're not called to back down. And this is how it's happening currently. The devil is not stupid. He might be a liar, but he ain't totally stupid. How do you start placing doubt? You start with something as basic as names. We kind of touched on this yesterday. The devil will tell you, well, you know what? His name is, and you cannot say anything. Just remember in the Bible, remember the devil knows how to quote scripture. But he also knows how to quote partial and how to twist. That's the devil's forte. The new and upcoming thing is this, and this is called enlightenment. I want you to listen carefully. This is enlightenment. You cannot say J in his name because we didn't have J. Yet still we have justification and justice in Jerusalem. No one's arguing about those names. Do you see the only one they have a problem with? To do what? To make sure that you do not follow It's very easy to create a sense of doubt when they do that. But it's not, it's par for the course with the devil. Like the one who created languages ain't God himself. Like, I don't get this. When he tells you he looks at your heart, you don't think he knows who you're talking about? You don't think he knows who you're talking about? And you think that the red horse and the white horse and the pale horse and the black horse and all these signs are going to somehow instantaneously transfer your view of things? No. 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 We have allowed a whole lot to enter into God in our world. We have attached a lot of things. We have attached a lot of things, man stuff, to God. And this is what I tell you, people have removed reverence for him. I even saw someone talking about the word God is not his name because God is a title and blah, 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 blah. But he says, I am the Lord God. And he also say, I am your Lord God. And I keep telling people it's who you have in reverence in your heart when you say it that matters. They will look, the devil is not immune from finding myriads of ways to stop you from honoring God fully. He has scores of ways to make God in your own image. And he will use whatever method he has at his disposal. He will use it. And there are tons of people right now who will focus on everything but the relationship. I want someone to explain that. I want someone to explain it. If it carries no weight, if his name has no power, none, if his name has no power, and I'm glad you said this, Black Swan, because this is why people want to remove the name. It does possess something about it. There is something about it. There is. For those of you that think, okay, I can't say it because the J, do you? That's what you think? That's what you think. If you want to get bogged down in that, I should hear you speaking Greek the whole time. You should speak Hebrew the whole time. Learn Hebrew and learn Greek and do not speak English. Because any lie in it is an all lie. Right? Go learn and simply speak Hebrew and Greek, nothing else. Why stick with just the name? Switch it all up. I have proof in my life. Proof. Tangible, recordable, regurgitative truth of what happens when that name is uttered over a situation. When that name is applied to a situation. When that name is repeated over a situation. Ain't nobody gonna tell me that that name was man-made. If you believe that, feel free to believe it all you want. Don't care. But I'm basing my life experience based on what I know of God, not what you tell me. The same way I tell you, don't just take my word, go to the author. The red horse, removing peace from the earth and given the power to do so, and mankind slaughtering each other can easily be taken as what's going on now. But I guarantee you it's not nearly close to what will happen. My question to you is, do you possess peace for yourself? Do you know peace? Him? Do you know him? That's peace. You know what the peace is? The peace is knowing that you're no longer under law and you've been saved from the end result of sin. Peace. Nothing else will mess with you. Peace. In spite of whatever happens to you physically, God is with you. Peace. That's peace. People could hate you. Peace. You're broke. Peace. I did an entire series on suicide. You can go check, not a series, but a whole statement on suicide since I've been through it. So go check that out. That'll answer some of your questions. I, from myself, am ready for whatever comes, because not because I have calculated all the options of could happening, but I am at peace because at the end of it, there's only one person in charge of all of it, and that's God. And if I say I trust him, then I have no worry. If I say I trust him, I should not worry. Now remember what you're trusting: all knowing, all power, all present, outside of time, creator of all law, creator of all righteousness, all light, no darkness. This is what you're trusting. Omnipotent. If that is who you trust, why are you worried? Why are you worried? That's my question, is why you're worried. The black horse is tomorrow. And that's one of the more deep ones because it is one of the most vague ones. I'll read it. When you open the third seal, I heard the third living creature say, "Come and see." So I looked, and behold, a black horse, and he who sat on it had a pair of scales in his hand. And I heard a voice in the midst of the four living creatures saying, "A quart of wheat for a denarius, and 3 quarts of barley for a denarius, and do not harm the oil and the wine." So we'll talk about the relevance of oil and wine in the statement being made, because that is part and parcel of what the black horse is about. The oil and wine. So we'll break that down, because when the Bible says certain things, it's relevant. There are tons of relevancy words and statements, and especially when it comes to things, colors, foods, and events, natural events. They mean a lot, and usually it's very straightforward. And people don't want the straightforward version, but it's very straightforward. So we'll talk about the oil and what it means, the oil and the wine, leaving the oil and the wine in the black horse segment. I don't know anything about the Mandisa thing. And just so people know, that wasn't her making the statement about wanting to be the mind of Christ in the body of a whore. That was a Lexi something or the other, some crazy lady, but it wasn't Mandisa. I think I saw someone say it might have been Mandisa that said that, but it wasn't her. It was a lady called Lexi something or the other. So anyway, we'll talk about the black horse tomorrow. Um, And then right after that, of course, will be the pale one. Okay, the pale one. So we will have that discussion there. Okay. Um, we will have a discussion. Tomorrow we'll be back with Savage Patriots. We'll be talking about Mr. Mike Johnson. I could see that. I could see that. Um, and if it is, it's some kind of a um, hocus pocus kind of thing. And you know. So tomorrow again, Savage, and then we're still trying to figure out what days we're going to go live on Too Strong. So keep an eye out for that as well. Um, and I want to make things one thing clear again. The reading of the Bible becomes a whole lot more sustainable and fulfilling when you don't read into it. I have found that when you don't read into it and just take what he says and trust that what he says is what it is, you will have a much easier time going into that book. You don't have to be a scholar to read it. You simply have to trust him and what he says and his character. And if you don't trust him, it'll become a chore. It'll become a chore. It will become a chore. You go into that book, and what you read, you take to him what you don't understand. You take to him what you want clarity on. You take to him what seems angering. You take to him what seems confusing. You take to him all of it, and you wait. Just wait. He says to wait, and we have a hard time waiting. Anyway, what do you mean by that? Do we have any on Straight Talk? I don't, because I don't ascribe anybody to that. Um, if you in the at least on the Facebook page, if you put something that you want prayer for, people are just going to pray. And there's not one or two particular people I'm going to recruit to do that. That's not how the body should be working. He told you each one has, and when you put something out to the body should come around and pray, not just one person. So if you have something that you want intercession for or prayer with, bring it to the body and let the body pray. It's not one specific person, one special. The body prays. The body does. I'll put it like this. You ever stub your pinky toe? If you've never stubbed your pinky toe, I hope you never do it. But if you stubbed your pinky toe and you've ever done it with the efficacy of trying to kick a soccer ball, do you realize what the rest of your body does? Just try and imagine this. You're walking down the hall, and then the corner turns and craft right into that little guy, the littlest guy. The entire body lights up. The whole body. I don't care who you are. Every atom in your body comes to life, just like that, and feels what that pinky toe feels. There's not a single part of your body that doesn't feel it. That's how the body works. Once hurt, everybody fluctuates to it. Everybody, the whole body feels it, and the whole body comes to comfort it. The hands might be the one that's on it, but the mind is there talking to your body, saying, oh my, it doesn't hurt that much. And then you start rubbing your thigh. Your thigh didn't get hurt, but you start rubbing your leg, and it kind of helps the pinky toe for some reason. And you start rubbing the rest of the toes, and you're in step. And some of us will hold our head, but the head didn't get hurt. The head didn't get touched. So why are you holding your head? Everybody reacts to one person being hurt. And in some way, shape, and form, it soothes the part that's been injured. So no, I don't have 8 intercessor. I don't have 1 or 2. If the body is made aware of pain, the body is made aware of something, the body reacts. You want to know how you can tell that you're part of the body? When you offer something that hurts and the body reacts to comfort. And in some cases, the wound that you might have experienced needs some other part of the body to remove something from it. Sometimes it might just be a splinter, and you have to pull that splinter out, and it hurts more coming out than it did going in and being there. But the after effect is soothing. Function like the body, people. Function like the body. Each one has. Scrolling at the bottom, options. Of course, you know where to go with that. Straight to him, straight to the author. No one else, straight to the author. I'm hoping to still have not made the commercial, and I need to make the commercial for the event, but I want to make it a good one. So I don't want to just come on and say, we have this event coming. I want to make the commercial. I want to give robust information about it. So I want to do it right. So look forward to that. We'll catch you guys on the flip side. Of course, this is the only show today that I'm on. Savage Patriots tomorrow. Too Strong sometime this week. Okay. Wisdom calls to you from the streets. So please, 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 please find wisdom. Peace.
Hold tight to dreams, for if dreams die.